We trust our phones more than we trust our own eyes. If the map says there's a road, we believe there's a road. If the blue line says turn left, we turn left. We've stopped looking at the world and started looking at the screen. I was driving home for Thanksgiving in 2019. I was stuck in a massive traffic jam on the interstate. I was tired, I was frustrated, and I just wanted to see my family. So when my GPS offered me a way out, I took it. I didn't know that some shortcuts aren't designed to get you home. They're designed to get you lost. I looked at the phone mounted on my dashboard. A notification popped up over the map. Faster route found. Save 55 minutes. Avoid highways. I looked at the endless line of red taillights in front of me. We hadn't moved in 20 minutes. Accept, I said, tapping the screen. The blue line on the map shifted. It told me to take the next exit, exit 44, Blackwood Road. I took the exit. I was the only car to pull off. Everyone else stayed on the highway. I felt a smug sense of satisfaction. Suckers, I thought. The new route took me down a 2-lane asphalt road. Then, a few miles later, the GPS voice spoke. I slowed down. Old logging trail. Didn't sound like a main road. I made the turn. The asphalt ended immediately. The tires crunched onto gravel. It was a narrow forest road. Trees crowded the sides, their branches scraping the roof of my SUV. This can't be right, I muttered. I checked the phone. The blue line was straight and confident. Arrival time, 9:45 p.m. I kept driving. The woods got thicker. The rain got harder. The gravel turned into dirt, muddy, rutted dirt. My headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating nothing but tree trunks and wet leaves. Then I noticed the time. A few minutes ago, the ETA was 9:45 p.m. I looked at the screen again. Arrival time, 10:15 p.m. What? I said aloud. How did I lose 30 minutes? I hadn't stopped. I was driving 30 miles per hour. I kept watching the screen. 10:16 p.m., 10:17 p.m. The time wasn't counting down, it was counting up. Every minute I drove forward, the destination got further away. I hit the brakes. Forget this, I said. I'm turning around. I shifted into reverse. Continue straight, the voice said. Make a U-turn when possible. I ignored it. I looked in my rearview mirror to back up. I couldn't see the road behind me. It wasn't just dark. It was gone. The trees behind the car looked like they had closed in. Where the road should have been, there was a wall of thick brush and saplings. I rubbed my eyes. Crazy, I thought. It's just the rain and the shadows. But I couldn't back up. The brush was too thick. I had to keep going forward. I had to find a clearing to turn around. I put it back in drive. The road got worse. It was barely a trail now. Grass was scraping the bottom of the car. In 500 feet, continue straight, the GPS said. I looked at the screen. The map showed a distinct road named Route 0. I looked out the window. There was no Route 0. There was just a gap in the trees. And then I saw the cars. Off to the side of the trail, half buried in the mud and vines, was a car, an old 90s sedan, rusted out. 50 yards later, another one, a pickup truck, then a minivan. They were abandoned, left to rot in the woods. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a shortcut. This was a graveyard. No, 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 I whispered. I tried to call my wife. No service. The GPS screen flickered. The map started to glitch. The blue line began to squiggle like a snake. Speed up, the voice said. I froze. That wasn't a standard navigation command. Speed limit is 65, I yelled at the phone. I can't go 65. Speed up, the voice repeated. It sounded louder, more aggressive. You are late. Arrival time is never.
I grabbed the phone to turn it off. The screen burned my hand. It was hot, overheating. I couldn't turn it off. The power button didn't work. I threw the phone onto the passenger seat. The headlights hit something ahead. The trail ended. About 50 feet in front of me, the ground just disappeared. It was a washed-out bridge, an old wooden bridge over a deep rocky ravine. The center of the bridge was gone, fallen into the black water below. I slammed on the brakes. I came to a stop about 10 feet from the edge. I sat there, breathing heavy. My heart felt like it was going to explode. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay, you saw it, you stopped." I looked at the phone on the passenger seat. The screen was bright red. The voice spoke. It wasn't synthesized anymore. It sounded distorted, guttural. "Turn left," it hissed. I looked to the left. There was a drop-off, a sheer cliff leading down into the ravine. "Turn left now," the voice screamed. "Turn left now." Suddenly, the car's engine revved. My foot wasn't on the gas. My foot was on the brake. The car lunged forward. The electronics, the smart features, the cruise control, something had hijacked the car's computer. The wheels spun in the mud, fighting the brakes. The car inched towards the cliff. "Recalculating destination. Hell," the voice laughed. I didn't think. I unbuckled my seatbelt. I threw the door open. I rolled out of the car into the mud. I scrambled to my feet, slipping and sliding. I watched as my SUV's brake lights flared. The engine roared one last time. The car shot forward. It went over the edge of the cliff. I waited for the crash. I stood there in the rain, alone in the middle of the forest. I started walking. I walked back the way I came. And here is the scariest part. The wall of trees behind me, the brush that blocked me from reversing, it wasn't there. The road was wide open. It was a clear gravel path leading back to the main road. It took me 3 hours to walk back to civilization. When I filed the police report, the officer looked at me like I was insane. He said, "There is no Blackwood Road at Exit 44. Exit 44 is a service ramp for logging trucks. It's been gated off for 10 years. We went back the next day to find my car. We found the wreckage. We found the wreckage at the bottom of the ravine. But we didn't find the other cars. The rusted sedan, the minivan, the graveyard of vehicles I passed on the way in. Gone. The woods were empty. But when they winched my SUV up from the rocks, the dashboard was smashed. The phone was destroyed. But the GPS unit built into the car's dashboard, it was still flickering. The battery should have been dead. The car was totaled. But the screen was glowing faint blue. And on the map display, it showed a single dot, my location, and the text below it didn't say "no service." It read, "User escaped, rerouting for next attempt." I don't use GPS anymore. I use paper maps. I print out directions, and if I ever see a notification that says "faster route found," I ignore it, because I know that the time you save on the road, you pay for with your soul.